So we have been assigned a very interesting project. The project is a VS Code extension with accessibility features for visually impaired people. Uh, Now we all have used VS Code, which is a great code editor, but it lacks accessibility features for visually impaired people. Through this project, we aim to help people with various visual difficulties to write, edit, and debug Python programs for Lego Spike Prime. Our project sponsor is Dr. Stephanie Ludi, and currently we have total of 5 people working on the project. We have Zachary, Clay, Saad, Harris, and myself, Jigme, and collectively we are known as the Five Guys. The previous team that had worked on the project has included various accessibility features such as increasing and decreasing font size, changing themes, highlighting specific lines inside the editor, going to a specific line. uh, this semester, we had planned to add 2 new features. First is the voice command, and the second is the filter for suggestions from the IntelliSense. The idea behind the voice command is to reduce the need for the users to use the shortcut keys. For example, using this feature, the users can say increase the font size or go to a specific line, go to this line, and the extension will do it for you. This way, the users do not have to memorize all the shortcut keys. The functionality is still in production and unfortunately cannot be demoed today, but we are making progress on it. The upcoming sprint will include the details of the progress. With that being said, the another feature that I mentioned earlier is the option to filter the autocomplete suggestions that the IntelliSense generates. Let me show you how it works. Generally, the suggestions the VS Code produces are based on the text that's being typed on the editor. Now, the problem with this is this requires the users to type at least some characters that matches anything within the context of the program, meaning that the users would have to know spellings for the functions or variables declared or imported within the project. So if we were to use some functions from OS, then we'll have to know certain text for the IntelliSense to generate the suggestions. Uh, and even though the users do not know the spellings, they can always use the dot operator to generate all these suggestions. But as you can see, the list can be quite long, and especially if you are using a screen reader, then it may take some time for the users to find what they are exactly looking for. Using the filter allows the users to ask IntelliSense to suggest specific recommendations, reducing the number of options to choose from. The users can ask to provide just the functions or attributes belonging to a specific class. For example, we can do OS dot and we can use the suggestion filters, and we can say, hey, give me all the functions from this OS module, and it will only show all the functions, just the functions only that belongs to the OS module. So this reduces the number of suggestions the IntelliSense generates. Another benefit of using this filter is that the users know that the completed text is either a function or a variable or attribute and move forward based on what is being completed. For example, I know this abort is a function because that's how I got it. I asked IntelliSense to just give me the functions, so I know. So I know this abort is a function just by doing that. Although this may not be the most thrilling features, but having worked on this functionality has given us the idea about how a language server or IntelliSense works in VS Code, which would come in handy if we try to use IntelliSense again for implementing debugging features. So with that being said, this is all the progress that we have been making on the project, and I would like to conclude it right here. Thank you very much.